everyone, Rachel back with you. I hope y'all are doing absolutely amazing. I know I am. I just got off work. You see the clothes here. More professional than my normal apparel. It's because it's my banker clothes, so don't judge me. Hey, so in my last video, I talked about how I just bought plane tickets to fly home to Iowa to see Mom and Dad. Now, what I didn't tell you is I'm not just seeing Mom and Dad. I'm seeing the whole extended family. And when I say extended family, I mean extended. I'm going home for a family reunion. Now, family reunions aren't something that happen all that often in my family. In fact, this is the biggest family reunion that we've had in 40 years. Now, for record, I'm 33. So this is the largest family reunion that we've had in my lifetime. So I'm going to be seeing family members that I haven't seen since I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I might be seeing some family members for the first time in my entire life. So, with that being said, I thought a very good topic of today's video would be how I came out to my family and how they reacted. If you've been following this channel from the very beginning, you know this is a topic that I covered about a year and a half-ish ago. But a lot has changed since then. There's family members, the last of my family members, who kind of found out that I'm trans, that I came out to. And so this video needed a lot of updating, and I figured no better time than the present. Now, if y'all know me, you know that my favorite TV show is The Office. And I was watching The Office yesterday, streaming it off of my TV. And I watched the episode where Oscar came out to The Office. And I love the line from Jan Levinson, where she says that for a gay person, coming out is a very significant moment, and they should be able to choose the time and the place that they do come out. And I think that is absolutely correct. I think that it's the same for anybody, whether you're gay, whether you're lesbian, bi, pansexual, trans. I think that that's absolutely true. That it's such a significant moment, and that we should be able to choose the time, the place, the significance of when and where we come out. When I came out to my family, the first people I came out to were Mom and Dad. Now, I was super nervous to tell Mom and Dad. I grew up in a very Christian conservative household, and it's not that I thought that they would disown me or something like that. I just knew that they wouldn't understand. This was going to be new. This was going to be scary. I'm the first person that is in the LGBT community in my family's history. So this is uncharted water for people in my family. So when it came time to come out to Mom and Dad, I was honestly too afraid to tell them face to face. Honestly, I was too afraid to even get the words out. So it's not how I wanted to do it. But when I came out, it was like a 9 p.m. text message to Mom and Dad. And yeah, literally cowardice is what it was, but it's how I did things. And the text message pretty much just said, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I'm feeling. I love you. If you need space, I understand. And so like I said, I sent that at like 9 p.m. And the next morning I woke up, and the first thing I did was I checked my phone. And there was nothing. And so a couple hours later, I checked my phone, and there was nothing. And so that night, before I went to go to bed, I checked my phone, and there was nothing. And by this point, my heart sunk. And I thought that that was it. I thought that my time as a member of my family was over. The next morning I woke up, and the first thing I did was I checked my phone. And finally, there was a text message. A text message from Daddy-O, which is my father, in my phone. My parents are still married, by the way. You normally don't see one without the other. So, when I saw a text from Dad, I knew it was from both of them. And the text message from my father said, "I can't say I understand, but that doesn't mean I don't love you. I will always love you. You will always be my child." And then the text message ended with a, "For right now, please don't tell anyone." And I'm sitting here, I'm like, that makes sense, but how long is for right now? But I didn't question. I said, this is good enough. I heard what I needed to hear. I may not understand, but I still love you. And I will always love you. You will always be my child. And that is what I needed to hear in that moment. And my dad knew it. Both my mom and dad knew it. And they were able to give me that. And I left it there for a couple months. I would talk to mom and dad. We would not talk about my transition. But they were the only ones in my life that knew. The next person I told was my brother. My brother, him and I have a very in-depth relationship. My brother, he's 2 years older than me, but only 1 year educationally. So when I was a freshman, he was a sophomore. We shared a bedroom, for the first 16 years of my life. We shared a bedroom. We were best friends growing up. And when I was 16, he moved off to college. Moved into an apartment 45 minutes away. And literally 12 months later, about 50 weeks later, I moved in with him as his college roommate. And not only were we college roommates, we had the same major, we had the same class schedule, the same after-school job. Shoot, we were on the same intramural basketball team. Like, you did not see one without the other. Most people in our college town thought that we were twins, because we were constantly together. We were that conjoined, I guess you could say. When I told him over a phone call. And the main reason I told him over a phone call and not in person was, at this point, I lived in Kentucky. He still lives in Iowa. I told him and his fiance, and they had a small child at home. And I was super nervous just because of the fact that they have a small child. Obviously, when kids got brought into it, I was not sure what the dynamic would look like. But they were super accepting. Probably my favorite transition moment with my brother was my first trip back home after that conversation. I'd realized I'd left some of my makeup at home, and I needed to replace it for when I was in Iowa. And so my brother went with me to Ulta to get said makeup. And I just loved having him there physically, to show me support. To show me that he was here for me. I don't know. I just thought that was a big moment. And when we were on the way to Alta, it gave me and him a chance to talk. And he had asked me, he said, do you think there will ever come a time where you will transition back, where you won't want to be Rachel anymore? And I told him straight up, I said, honestly, right now, I'm the happiest I've ever been. And I don't see myself wanting to go back. This is who I am. And he just nods and says, okay. If this is you, and I love you regardless. And ever since then, he hasn't wavered, and it's been undying support. He's my best friend, and that's a large part of it, is because he's always right there for me. Next person I came out to is my sister and her husband. My sister and her husband, they are very conservative people, and I was really nervous in that regard, just because they're your very Christian conservative couple. And I just really didn't think they would understand me. And my sister kind of told me just as much. She told me, hey, I don't understand. I don't understand this. But regardless, you're my sibling, and I love you. And that meant a lot. That really did. My sister, she moved to a different state as well. So it's not often that her and I are in the same room at the same time. But when we are, I'm met with nothing but love and support. I give her husband, their son, the exact same thing. Nothing but love and support. We're family. We always will be family. And we got each other's back. The next person that I told was my aunt. My aunt, she's always been one of my closest confidants. So I felt like that conversation would go rather well, and it did. She told me that after me telling her my story, she told me that honestly, she doesn't think anyone would put themselves through the stuff that I've gone through if this wasn't truly who they were. And you know what? She's right. The coming out in the Bible Belt, the stares I got from people, some of the comments, verbal attacks that I've gotten from people, fearing for my job because I worked in a very customer-facing industry when I came out. No one would put themselves through that just willy-nilly unless this was indeed who they were, who they are. And she's right. I chuckle when I'm at home because she asks me my opinion as a trans person about some of the trans-related stories that she hears on the news, to get an insider opinion. But I love that she hears things on the news, hears news stories, and immediately thinks of me and wants to ask me my take as someone who's in the community. And then the last person was my grandma. Now, my grandma, I was really, really sweating bullets. So much so that, like I said, I've been medically transitioning for 4 years. I told my grandma last summer. Now, people may ask, how is that possible? Through all the medication, through the breast augmentation, how is it possible? Now, let me tell you, when I would see my grandma, It would generally be December, January, and September, November. Now, if you've ever been to Iowa, you know those months are typically cooler months. So how I would play this game is when I would go see Grandma, I would not wear any makeup whatsoever. I would wear baggy jeans and a baggy hoodie. I'd toss my hair in a bun, and I'd throw a ball cap on. Did I look very boyish? I don't think so. If you really want to find out, there's pictures on my Instagram. You can go there and check it out. But I really don't think that I looked all that boyish, but she swears that she had no clue. I was super nervous to tell Grandma. I remember Grandma's disapproving look the day I came home with a tattoo. And I figured that was going to be this same look of disapproval times like 30,000. But so when I told Grandma, I took her out to lunch with my father. I wanted my father there for support. And remember, this is the same father who told me, don't tell anyone. So when I told Grandma, she pretty much asked me, are you happy? Are you happy now? You've been doing this for so long. Are you happy? And I told her that I am. I genuinely am. And she said, okay. And from then, it's been no questions asked. Grandma's been on my side 24/7, 365. In her advanced age, every call, it's, how are you, Rachel? No mention of my old name. Only Rachel, because she knows that's what makes me happy. She never messes up a pronoun. Like, she understands that it's important to me, that it makes me feel that good. And so she rolls with it. No questions asked. And I absolutely love that. Now, let's double back. I said that when I went to tell Grandma, I brought Dad for support. I want to give my dad and my mom, I want to give them a massive shout out, because where they don't necessarily fully understand, they try so hard for me. And that's my biggest thing with my family, is when I got the don't tell anyone from my dad, so many people told me, you don't need that negativity in your life. It may be time to distance yourself. It may be time to cut them out of your life. You don't need that negativity. Y'all, that's not fair. It's not. Like, my family knew me as one way for 28 years. Let's say 29, because I transitioned a month before my 29th birthday. They knew me one way for 29 years. I could not expect them to just switch on the drop of a hat because I told them to. I had to give them time to come to terms with everything. I had to give them time to realize everything. I had to give them time to see how happy I am. And once they saw that, they're all in with me. My father, when I go home, my father, he works in retail, and every time I'm home, he wants me to come in the store, say hi to him, and he wants to walk me around and introduce me to all of his coworkers, because he's that proud to have me as his kid. My mom works at the bank, in our small hometown, and she always wants me to come in the bank and say hi. And of course, I say hi to all the bankers who knew me from way back when, because they're that proud of me as their child, and they want to show me off as their child. And I absolutely love that. My family is number one in my life, always will be. I know not every family's like mine. Not every child is as lucky to grow up in a family as I am. But I guess my biggest thing is be patient. Obviously, if they're not a safe environment, get yourself out. But if it takes them a while to adjust and to understand, that's fine. It's to be expected. Honestly, it is. It's to be expected. And I don't know. If I seem a little emotional during this video, it's because I am. Because my family means that much to me. And honestly, I can't imagine a life without them. So, if you're in my family and you just so happen to watch this, I love you. Like, I love you. And I am so thankful that I have you in my life. Because you're amazing. But anyway, in that regard, I'll see you next month. I'll see you in a couple weeks when I come home. But until then, my friends, I'm gonna log off before I start crying because that's how I deal with things. In the next video, I'm gonna discuss coming out to my friends and to my coworkers. A little bit of a series, I guess you could say. So let's look forward to that. And until then, I will see you all next time. Much love, my friends. Goodbye.